So today I'm going to be talking about 9 apps that are going to help you plan and shoot with your camera. So these are apps that I use on a regular basis or that I recommend for who's starting out. And really, number 1 on the list is going to blow your mind. E aí, I'm Henry, a Brazilian photographer and filmmaker living in Italy, and in this channel I help you with the tech tools to be creative. And today we're talking apps to help with your photography. So without further ado, let's just go to the first one. Alright, next up is an app that I've been using for quite a long time and it's amazing. It's called SkyView Free. And all it does is to show you the exact position of stars, the sun, the moon. Whatever you want to find, you're going to be able to find in this app, and you can see it in augmented reality, which is the very cool part. So actually it is useful for photography, but also to impress people around you. Let me show you how it works. So you just fire up SkyView and then you're already going to be seeing through the camera everything that is around you. So let's see, for example, the sun. So in this case, the sun is up here and you can already see that it's there. And whenever you click on something on it, you can see that a line appears on the screen. And if you follow it, you can see the path that that star is going to make a long time. So for example, the sun is going to go down 5, 6. So at about 8:30, it's going to cross the red line, which is the horizon, and then it's going to set. So like this, you can be in a location and you can see exactly at which point the sun or the moon or whatever is going to be behind some object or some obstacle. So that way you can plan yourself better. Okay, this app is something that is going to help you calculate the exposure of your camera to take different shots, different kinds of shots in the same spot. Let's take one shot here and I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so our first shot was like this. The cars are totally frozen. So let's say we want a different one. We want the cars to be with a little bit of motion blur. To do that, we need to slow down the shutter. But if we only do that, then the picture is going to be way too bright. So we need to compensate with something else. And to do that, we can use the calculator, like I'm showing you right now. You can see on the screen, in which it's going to tell you exactly the configuration you need to do to keep the same level of exposure. And in this case, it's telling us that we need to put the aperture around 22. So let's make a try. Okay, perfect. And for this one was quite easy. You could even eyeball it and just would be just fine. But when you're working with long exposures especially, or you're using ND filters or something like that, this takes all the guesswork and the calculations out of your way, so you can just shoot. So next up is an app called Clear Outside. And here you're gonna find all information about the clouds, how it's gonna be during the day in a specific time of the day, also the visibility, fog, all this kind of stuff. I took this screenshot 3 hours ago, and as you can see, compared to the one that I took just now, it is mostly the same, but it changed, meaning that the app is constantly updating itself with new information. And most importantly, it was quite precise, so right now exactly looks like it was predicted 3 hours ago. I wouldn't count on it like 1 week in advance, but a couple of days, it's quite good. Okay, now let's talk a little bit about ND Expert to calculate the ND filter that you're gonna need and how long your shutter has to be to do a specific picture. Let's just go directly to the Time Expert part, and here is very simple. You're just gonna dial in your configuration right now in the camera that guarantees you a very good exposure. So in my case here, I just guessed something like 1/25, f22 and 100. So let's imagine that in this case, I just wanna lower this f22 to something like f5.6, for example. f22 usually is not very good for sharpness. So let's put here target value f5.6. ISO, I'm gonna keep it at 100. And I'm gonna say that I'm gonna use, I have here with me an ND filter of 1000. So all it's gonna do is calculate for me exactly how much time do I need to leave the shutter open to have that perfect exposure. And in this case, it's telling me a little bit over 2 seconds. And if you're configuring directly on the camera, it's kind of difficult to nail that specific timing because it goes up in multiples of seconds, but not exactly in fractions. But if you're using a timer like this one, or you're using an app from your camera that allows you to dial in the precise timing, then you're good to go. Now we got Ephemeris, and this is a very simple app that aims just to show you where is the sun and the moon gonna be over time. And the cool about this app is that up here you can already see the difference in phase between the sun and the moon. So if you want to take a shot of the moon, for example, during the day, you can just look here, see the difference between both lines. I'm gonna show you here. And this way you can grab a moment during the day in which the moon is the farthest away possible from the sun, meaning that you're going to be able to take a better shot of it instead of it being obscured by the light of the sun itself. And also with the graph you can have an idea when it's going to be the highest and the lowest points of both of them. Next up we got MapsMe, and you're probably wondering why a Maps application is in this list. But this one is special because it's based on the OpenStreetMaps, which is a collaborative network of maps. So anyone can contribute with something. So you can find a lot of hidden gems inside of this. Let me show you. So let's say, for example, you're about to make a trip to Bologna and you're just checking out what's around the center of the city, around the main square. So you're going to see all the main places here, but also you're going to find some small ones that have this binocular symbol. And this is something that was added by one of the contributors of these maps, and it's just saying something like view of Bologna from construction site on San Petronio Basilica. So it's a special place that this person found, they added onto the map, and it ended up being featured on the map itself. So one trick I like to use is come up to the search, go to categories and just choose sites, and then view on map. And this is going to allow you to see as small blue balls everything that is around you. But there's one more trick to it. So if you come to the search and you just put viewpoint and then view on map, you're going to be able to find all the cool spots in a higher level all around you. And obviously, if you want to take this tip a little bit further, you can download also Google Earth and pair it with MapsMe. So whenever you find something hidden on MapsMe that looks really cool, but you don't want to just go there and try it out, you can just open Google Earth and then go to the exact same place and check 3D to be able to navigate it all around you. And then you can see if there's any cool spot that you can explore for some new pictures. Alright, so we reached the top of our list, and this one is if you're getting serious about it, if you're willing to pay for an app, because this is not a free one, and if you don't want to be fuzzing around with a bunch of apps to do different things. Instead, you prefer something that has everything in only one place. So this one is called Photopills, and I'm gonna open it right now to show you. So we've got a little bit of everything. You can see up here that it has the planner, where you're gonna be able to plan where you are and see exactly the same as we saw in some of the other apps. So meaning you can see the position of the sun, of the moon, you can see how high they're gonna be. You have the sun also in augmented reality, so you can see what time it's gonna rise, what time it's gonna set, and also you can see around you, just like you saw with SkyView 3. The same for the moon. We got also an exposure calculator. You have also depth of field calculator, and this one is really cool. This is a field of view calculator with an augmented reality function. So you can set, for example, you're going to be using a 50 millimeters, you're going to be 3 meters away from your subject, and then you just tap the augmented reality and it's going to show you this red box all around you. So if you don't have your camera and you're preparing for a shoot, you can just use this and be sure that the lens you're planning to use is going to be suitable, or you can actually choose the lens based on that. And many other things like hyperfocal table, depth of field table, everything about stars, how to make star trails. And also there's a very cool time-lapse calculator in which you can set how long you want your time-lapse to be, and it's going to tell you how many shots and the interval between them that you need to set on your camera. Alright guys, thanks so much for watching. As usual, all the links for all the apps are going to be in the description below. And if you use some app that I didn't mention, please tell me in the comments also. Like this, we can share information with everyone watching this video. I'll see you in the next one. Ciao, ciao!